let's get into this story, Chair. Let's talk about these dual lawsuits that is coming out. One we have from a former member of Menudo, and there's another person that is saying that series where they were talking about one of the members of Menudo was assaulted is lying. So, um, and it's funny because I had no idea that Jose Menendez was Lyle and Eric Menendez's father until I watched um the series on FX, the one that Ryan Murphy did. I was like, I didn't put two and two together at the time. So yeah, so two lawsuits. Shout out to the Hollywood Reporter for this story. Two lawsuits filed this week related to the alleged pattern of SA of a one-time member of the 1980s boy band Menudo give contrasting narratives of the role the band's then manager played. One suit alleges that the manager repeatedly R-worded ex-Menudo member Roy Rosello while handing him off to others, including Jose Menendez, and the other lawsuit claims that these allegations, made for over a decade but recently highlighted in a 2023 Peacock documentary, are lies. Now, on Thursday, in a civil lawsuit filed in New York federal court, Rosello claims that for 3 years while in the Latin boy band, he was a victim of SA at the hands of Edgardo Diaz, the band's founder and manager for decades. The suit alleges that from 1983 to 1986, Diaz subjected Rosello to SA emotional manipulation and trafficking that spanned the U.S., Brazil, Puerto Rico, and other locations worldwide. Now, in the 17-page complaint filed under the Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Law, in which seeks a jury trial, Rosello lays out a detailed account giving dates that coincide with verifiable details of Menudo's concerts and TV appearances on The Merv Griffin Show, American Bandstand, and Sesame Street. During the years, he says that he was assaulted multiple times per week by Diaz and others, most notably then RCA Records chief Jose Menendez, who signed the band to a $30 million contract and, by many accounts, took an uncharacteristic interest in the group, flying as far as to Brazil to be at their performances and inviting the band members to his New Jersey home for barbecues. It was Diaz who facilitated these encounters, the complaint states, which took place at Menendez's New Jersey home, at a New York hotel following a Menudo performance at Radio City Music Hall, and in Brazil while Diaz was in the room. So, now, of course, they're going to sit up here and say that the band is lying. I mean, the guy is lying, but let's continue. So now in the interview with the Hollywood Reporter this week, Menendez Murders author Robert Rand said that Eric Menendez has recalled that during these barbecues in Princeton, New Jersey, different times when Jose would say, I need to go into a bedroom to talk with this member or Menudo one-on-one. The former accusation against the late Menendez patriarch, who in 1989 was gunned down along with his wife Kitty in their Beverly Hills home by his sons, comes with an expansion on the accusation Rosello initially made against Jose Menendez in the 2023 Peacock docuseries Menendez and Menudo, Boys Betrayed, which I actually saw, by the way. That's how I first became aware, excuse me, of what these allegations and all these other things. And now here, 2 years later, we're hearing more. And now lawsuits are being filed. So now Rosello now indicates he was subjected to multiple SAs by the former RCA chief that took place in numerous countries, not just a single encounter he initially described in the series. The complaint in a potential jury trial could further solidify the evidence presented in ongoing legal proceedings in Los Angeles as the Menendez brothers seek their freedom. The brothers' second joint trial concluded in 1996 after the court did not allow any mention or evidence that their father SA'd his sons. This torpedoed their defense strategy and led them to be convicted and handed life sentences without the possibility of parole, which I know that they're still trying to go up and have all that done now, where they're trying to work on getting another trial, which I actually hope that they do, because I do feel like at the time in the 90s, and I said this before, we were talking about when I was talking about the assault of the guy by another man on a New York City subway. A lot of man-on-male assaults go underreported in the United States, specifically because I think it's misogyny. It's that whole macho situation. It's like, yeah, what were you weak? You're a man. You're supposed to be able to handle these type of situations. And it's like, Nobody should be putting their hands on anybody, regardless if you're a male or a female. And we need to stop putting this whole thing where y'all think because you're a man and you got a dick between your legs, that automatically means that you're supposed to be masculine, you're supposed to be strong, and you're supposed to be able to overpower that person. But if you're someone who's a specific size, whatever the case is, and that person is bigger than you, that don't mean your male gender don't mean shit. So I'm tired of people saying that or trying to just downplay or diminish something just because they're like, well, you're a man, you're supposed to be able to fight someone off. You must have wanted it or whatever the case is. And this will come from women. That's the overall shock, that a lot of women will say this. And it's like, but y'all want to be believed. But then you get mad when a man comes out and says something. So I truly believe that had something to do with the fact that, yeah, their father was abusive. The mother looked the other way. She was drinking herself into a stupor, and was loving all the living the life and the accolades and all the other stuff of being the wife, the doting wife, and the husband having all this money, and she's getting to live this lavish lifestyle. So it's sort of like you weren't there to protect your sons from his abuse, be it physical or sexual. And so they felt like the only way they could take it out was, I'm gonna just put my mother out of her misery because she a lost damn cause and probably been so beat down and abused she don't know which end is up. And then I got a father who I definitely got to put him out because he's a monster. So, now they said Rosello originally accused Diaz of assaulting him on TV while appearing on a Brazilian reality competition show in 2014. Diaz is now 77 years old. He has consistently denied all accusations of molestation leveled against him. In 1994, he filed for bankruptcy 3 years after he was accused by ex-members, and that's plural, of Menudo of SA, with former member Ralphie Rodriguez as the main accuser. In 2023, the Los Angeles Police Department opened an investigation into Diaz over Rosello's allegations. In a police report that Diaz SA'd a former member of the group in the 80s at the Biltmore Hotel. Now, Menendez and Menudo, Boys Betray, the docuseries in which Rosello first accused José of SA, is the main subject of another lawsuit filed this week, but it expands into accusations germane to the Menendez trial. The plaintiff has also made some fresh claims regarding the evidence that has brought the brothers' case to the fore of national news. So now this is where the second lawsuit comes in. So the complaint filed earlier this week comes from Darren McGillis, who owns the rights to several Menudo songs and is now accusing NBC Universal of libel and slander, stating that it knowingly aired fabricated lies about Menudo and the Boys Betray docuseries, which heavily featured Rosello and looks at how Menudo was connected to José Menendez. The series provided a platform for Rosello to come forward with his initial accusation against the elder Menendez, with who Rosello said R-worded him while he was the president of RCA Records. That accusation has ripple effects that in part set off the current legal fight, Lala and Eric Menendez have taken to court to win back their freedom. Now, in the lawsuit, which McGillis filed himself without an attorney or firm to back him, he claims that NBC relied on fabricated statements and paid Rosello a substantial amount of money in the interest of tying Menudo to scandalous, false, and defamatory labels such as sexual, molestation, gay, and homosexual. No contracted members of Menudo has ever brought a civil case against Diaz, the complaint states, despite the existence of Rosello's case. But didn't I just say that there was multiple lawsuits that was filed by members of the band? So what is he talking about? They said the docuseries has damaged his business. McGillis claims he's asking the court that NBC Universal pay him $500 million in punitive damages. This is the same guy who literally just filed for bankruptcy. So now you sitting there talking about the NBC Universal owes you $500 million, and I really don't think that these people, especially when it comes down to those investigation discovery type shows, they're going to dot all their I's and cross all their T's before they're going to put anything on screen. It's kind of like when I was talking about the whole thing about how the IRS went and revealed that the reason why Teresa went to jail and Joe went to jail wasn't all because Teresa blindly signed paperwork because Joe put her up to it, because she did blame him. No, she was a culprit in it too. And they both sat up there and said, it's BS, it's BS. No, it's not BS. The fact of the matter was, y'all thought y'all wasn't going to pay your taxes for 9 years and y'all wasn't going to get caught because y'all act like the IRS don't watch television. You think they just sit and crunch numbers all day? It's the same thing with this situation. It's the fact that they're going to make sure that everything is credible, and they're not out here just spewing a bunch of stuff. So that way it protects them from being sued. So this McGillis dude, I don't know what the hell you talking about. He also claimed that he was asked to appear in Boys Betrayed by Rand, who was a producer of the show, and was asked by Rand to lie about members of Menudo being molested. In the lawsuit, he accuses Rand of executing a detailed, complex, and well-planned strategy involving many intricate steps with the ultimate goal of freeing the Menendez brothers. This involved that McGillis claims to was a fake interview with former Menudo member Ricky Martin, in which he says Rand claimed Martin told him Menendez placed his hand down the young Martin's pants while on his way to Disney World. McGillis repeated the story secondhand to the Globe tabloid, which ran its cover story and left McGillis feeling duped. McGillis told THR by phone that he is motivated to sue and ensure that the truth about Rosello's alleged lies is exposed, and to ensure that the facts of the Menendez brothers' case are all available to the courts, their family, and the public as their attempts at regaining their freedom work through the legal system. Now, on the phone with THR on Friday, McGillis also alleged that Rand previously admitted to him that he fabricated the second major piece of evidence brought forward on the Menendez case, the letter Eric wrote, which Rand discovered in the brother's late cousin's desk while reporting on the story. Saying, quote, he told me about this letter, that he went there and the lady let him go into the house. This is what McGillis explained to THR that Rand once told him. And so he has free access. And voila, then I found a letter. Nobody knows whether I found it there or not. So he's not telling me that he planted. So he was telling me that he planted the letter. And then also, they said Rand told Hollywood on Friday that he never offered any money to McGillis to appear on Boys Betrayed, and laughed out loud at the notion that the letter Eric Menendez wrote to his cousin was fabricated, or that he would ever confide in McGillis about such a thing, saying the letter is authentic. I discovered at the home of the sister of Jose Menendez in March of 2018. He said. He added that Rosello was not the only former Menudo member that the Boys Betrayed producer spoke with about incidents of molestation. He was the only one willing to go on camera to speak about it, though. And that's why I said, McGillis, sir, if you was actually paying attention, there were numerous Menudo members who came out and said something. Rosello was the only one that actually came on the record to speak, but there have been many members of Menudo who have said that they have been abused. I've heard those stories over the years, so I don't know what this guy's talking about. And then on top of that, if you claim that you got all this evidence, then put it out there when you go to court. The evidence of NBC Universal, the producers of this docuseries, or documentary, that they try to coerce you to make up stories and lie about certain incidences that may or may not have happened. But the thing is, if they were gonna, whatever. Yeah, it just sounds like McGillis, you just full of it. You just mad because your situation is currently you're in the financial shitter, that you had to file for bankruptcy and that sort of thing. I don't think you have a case, but good luck. I don't understand how you file a suit and stuff without an attorney. Like, you gonna represent yourself? That's what I want to know. McGillis also said that he took what he says Rand told him, along with other relevant information, to former LADA, or I should say Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon's office, and that he felt it was taken seriously, but he was soon surprised to see the DA's efforts to get the Menendez brothers a resentencing hearing, saying his legal complaint was filed quickly without an attorney or firm because McGillis feels it needs to be seen as the Menendez case inches forward. So yeah, that's the latest that we have on this story. It sounds like a lot and it sounds like a hot ass mess. So I'll definitely be keeping myself abreast of this story because color me intrigued. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think of all of this that I just laid out for y'all in regards to this whole, there's two different lawsuits, one that's accusing and one that's denying that the allegations happened with this former Menudo member. So of course it's going to be his side. That would be Roy's side. And then you got Mr. McGillis' side. And somewhere in between lies the truth. I do believe that these boys was touched. It'd be nice if Ricky Martin would come out and speak about what he went through in Menudo, but I don't feel like he's at a point in his life where he's even gonna talk about it, address it, whatever the case is. I just feel like he's he's one of the biggest people to come out of Menudo, and he's gonna keep that momentum going. So I don't even think he wants to address any kind of abuse, if there was any, during his time in the group. Because after a couple of years, they do switch him out because they always want to keep him young. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below.